Hi there, I'm Kat.
And I'm Derek. Welcome to Chit Chat with Derek and Kat.
We're your backstage pass into the world of family businesses. The real stories, the real challenges, and everything that makes these businesses thrive across generations.
Each week, we'll sit down with entrepreneurs, leaders, service providers, and family dynasties to swap stories, dig into some lessons, and have some laughs along the way.
So whether you're part of a family business, dreaming of starting one, or you just love a good success story, you're in the right place.
So let's get into it. It's time for Chit Chat with Derek and Kat. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Chit Chat with Derek and Kat. I'm Derek Volk. I am one of your hosts, and I am the owner of Volk Packaging Corporation, located in Biddeford, Maine. We are a corrugated box manufacturer and fulfillment house. And my co-host, who I accidentally once called my guest, but she's just so perky, it's hard to not think of her as a guest, Catherine Wygant Fawcett. She's from the Institute for Family-Owned Business. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you. Welcome.
So our guest today is the one and only Mr. Eddie Woodin. Welcome to the show, Eddie.
Welcome.
Great to be here, Derek and Kat. Thanks for the opportunity to say hello and to see you two again.
Yeah, it's awesome. So tell us what you've been up to. So Eddie he runs a business. He does a lot of nonprofit work in several different fields and always has been very philanthropic. Is very well known for his philanthropy. And in addition, he recently wrote a book, which I'm not sure it's going to come up so well because of these virtual background things. But, oh, there we go. If I hold it right up in front of me.
It's much better.
Wow, nice.
Abundance. Yeah, you got to make sure you hold it right up in front of you where it picks up you. There we go.
It's me.
And so before we get to the book, which we do want to talk about, tell us what's happening in your work world and how you're a family business and how you connected with Catherine.
Well, thank you. Boy, we're in the manufacturing business. We manufacture retail interiors nationally, internationally. I always had a philosophy of thinking big. And we have two large accounts that are billion-dollar companies. In the past, we had a number of smaller companies. So we focus on that. And the pandemic was very difficult. We manufacture retail interiors. And I was driving home in the pandemic and news time, and they said, in Boston University will be closing down for the spring semester. Our business was college and university bookstores. So if you went to Harvard, we manufacture everything from the walls in. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So our business very quickly was cut in half. And you know what that's like, Derek, when you lose half your business. We hung tough, immediately built a marketing plan. Resiliency was the key. I learned at that time, wake up, get up, dress up, and never give up. I mean, that was the mantra every day. So lo and behold, we're now this month, a record month in the last 15 years. So we fought hard, we've recovered, we've gained new ground, and I'm pleased. Thank God, I'm spiritual. Thank you. And a lot of our competitors and suppliers have not. So we're thankful, and we're doing well and working it hard.
How many people are you employed? Yep.
6. And Maine produced workers. It's amazing. I remember 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there aren't enough workers in Maine. And I don't think there was respect for the Maine worker. And I have 5 that are their work ethic, they're bright, self-taught, trig and calculus. And we do as fine a design work as there is in the country with these Maine kids.
Your sons work with you, correct?
Who are now in their 50s.
Yeah, your sons work with you, don't they?
Well, he does, yeah, Andrew. And Andrew came to me 33 years ago. I had started the companies, and he said, gee, Dad, do you think I'm now Eddie? I'm no longer Dad. If you own a family-owned business, and we became Eddie and Andrew, and it works a lot better. So I said, yeah, so he spent 3 months, and I said, he liked the accounting. And I said, well, go get some college courses. He did, and he's been the CFO. and doing very well. And then we ship a lot of goods. When Barnes & Noble College opens a new account, we ship a lot of the merchandising accessories to each store. Andrew handles all that. And so here we are 33 years later. So
have you expanded into different products from when you first came up with the idea?
Well, it was interesting. I was maybe, I don't know if you can see that ring. So I'm Hall of Fame sales for Lozier, which was the biggest manufacturer of display shelving in the world. Spent 10 years. And I ended up leaving. I felt, the ceiling for pay wasn't correct. And so I became VP national sales for a company out of Pittsburgh. And I did my stint. And then finally God said, it's time to start the business in 1992. And I said, well, what about my steady paycheck? And he said, let's go. So I had cash, 5 credit cards. The banks weren't lending money after the 2000 or the 80 crash. I started the company, and we had $1 million the first year, and we basically never looked back. So I was grateful, and we grew from there. Yeah, that's how we started.
And how's the business changed in those years?
Consolidation. I'll never forget. We were supplying the biggest home center in the world in Chile, Sodimac. And we had a relationship with them. They came up and there was a consultant we were working with, and he said, the big will become bigger and the small will become smaller and disappear. And that's exactly what's gone on for the last 30 years. However, small business is still alive and well, but there's been a great consolidation. And fewer players and bigger players in the retail world. Our classic example, we just manufactured the cafe at the Barnes & Noble at the Target shopping center. Troy, who's from Maine, does a terrific job, and he oversees that. We manufactured that cafe, and books were dead. People were reading on Kindle. Brick and mortar was going to be no longer. And now they're expanding with 60 new stores, and it's a great renaissance. And so pockets of retail are doing very well. Some are a little slower, but it's alive and well. But the bigger are bigger, and the smaller have subsided.
You're probably, I would think that your business to some extent similar to mine, where we're a bit of an economic indicator. If people aren't buying boxes, then people aren't buying things because everything goes in a box. And that's changed over time because, of course, so much now today is purchased overseas. So what's happening in bulk packaging isn't necessarily a sign, because it could just mean there's more imports. But I'm curious with your business, and this, don't take this the wrong way. It's not intended as any kind of dig. But there was a time I would think that building new brick and mortar was a much more of an economic indicator than it is today, where so much is now digital and online. Is that true? Do you find not that
that's a great point? Absolutely. And by the by, you guys, Volk, and you do a great job there.
Thank you.
And I see pop-ups and I read about you, but you're the canary in the mine. when I want to know, you are. When I want to know, you hear the news and I believe about a third of what is out there. And so I Google box sales, national, and manufacturing box companies, and is business up or down and what percent? And that you guys really are the canary in the mine. But
yeah, Alan Greenspan's book Maestro, he talks about how one of the things he would read every morning were corrugated sales.
Absolutely. I look at copper and metals. We do a lot of metal. That's the litmus, and your boxes are the litmus. So, the retail expansion has slowed. I think the big change are the internet purchases and sales. So the retail sizes of some of the companies, Wayfair and others, have really, really suffered. And And a lot of that was buy and ship over the internet. But some are doing very well, and people are social people and human beings, and that's what's never discussed. And during the shutdown, and the isolation, and Myers-Briggs. I have a psych and a business background, and the key is Myers-Briggs. If you're an introvert on a Myers-Briggs, great, you want to stay home, you're having a great time. If you're an extrovert, an extreme extrovert, add Sagittarius to it, you're going nuts and want to be out there and retail around people. So the people are back. Barnes and Noble is amazing. We're well connected. I knew Len Riggio, the founder of both College and Public. Great guy. And he was a friend. I have a letter from him. We were friends of sorts. And they're back. People want to be and this new environment is soft maples, platinum almond, switching back with a dressed up look. And I get so many comments now when I talk to people. They say, "What?" I said, "Yeah, we did the cafe." They say, "Oh, I love that." So they love the retail space, and at the same time, they're having a social experience. And so I think retail certainly has its place. And aside, economics are big; they play into that. But aside from economics, ups and downs, I think people are really gravitating to. Not all spaces, but certainly bookstores and some other retail.
I still love going to bookstores, even though I find bookstores overwhelming because there's so many books in there that I would like to read, and I wish I had time to read. And so at one point I said, I'm not buying any more books until I've read all the books that are on my bookshelf and on my nightstand. And I break that rule all the time because I see another book that I'm interested in, including yours.
Yay!
So you made me break my rule again. I picked up your book. Tell us about your book.
Well, the book has been very interesting and fun. And you write a book and you're too close to it. Your individual life, you're very close to it, and you're too close to it for a perspective. You really need input from people around you. So I wrote this book. God told me to write the book. And I said, okay, you got it. But the good news is he never told me how many years I had because it took quite a number of years. So I really wanted to tell a theme about my walk and really this thing about finding God. So in the book, I explain how I found God. And I was spiritual and I was appreciative. We're all given gifts. And my message is it's important to define your gifts and then to use them because they are a gift. So I've done that. And so I wrote the book, and in the last 8 years, last 8 days, I've had 11 people reach out to me saying, I really enjoyed that book. So, that's the encouraging part. So you're so close to it. But the book is about basically you can't outgive God. And I have been charitably oriented. I started in the 1980s, started giving back time. I started writing $5 checks because that's all I could afford. But I built a plan called the 5. And the 5 was spend 5 minutes a day praying, 5 minutes a day Bibling, 5 good kind acts per week, 5 minutes of volunteer time, and send $5 to a charitable group. And that was the foundation, and it grew from there into millions and lots of hours. So you got to build a plan and work it. And the book is about building a plan. And then you cannot give God, so you find the opportunities. I have a prayer room. I've read the Bible for 29 years every day, 10,500 days in a row. I've had a prayer group for 20 years now. Every Thursday night, short of Thanksgiving, short of and Christmas, and they show up. And so it's a war room. So I go in and I say, okay, God, what's next? We've created these funds and it's easy. It's no one ever says no. If you go to someone and say, hey, I'm here, I want to offer a $2,500 stipend challenge grant, and let's create this fund and raise $10,000. And time again. So I went in the war room and I said, God, I'm ready for within 2 minutes, I had the new one, and it was the senior agency called the Best Friend Fund. And we raised money for medical expenses of seniors for their pets when they need the medical care. And what better? And we've 15 years, 100 and probably close to $200,000 now. So I go in, I pray, and God gives me the next one. And
that's great. What is the name of that organization? What is the name of that nonprofit?
Victory Power Team. Victory Power Team. We've had some great warriors. I did a lot of work in Rwanda. In the book, what's interesting, I have Peter Matima, Peter, he wrote the introduction. And I met Matima in 1997. He's a pastor at Bethel Church. He was on Monjoy Hill. So Stephen, a great warrior buddy, and I went to the church, and we were 2 of 3 white people in a church of 200 Africans, and it was terrific. We had a blast. They loved the spirit. So Matima was involved in Rwanda. He's from the Congo. So he wrote an introduction for the book. I asked him, and he did really well. But it brought back memories because you move on, and we did some pretty interesting things, helping widows and all in 1997. So that was a good beginning, but we continue for look for new opportunities.
So my father was in the diplomatic service, and I grew up living all over the world. And I lived in the Gambia, West Africa, and met Alex Haley when he was finding his roots and went up.
Nice.
Had been to Kinte. And I feel like Africa really changes you when you go and you see that. My dad was an African specialist, and they were in Zimbabwe or Rhodesia, and then Togo, where I was launched, and then I lived in the Gambia. And
excellent.
It's amazing.
Excellent.
They're very special. It's a special.
And that's over there, and we're here, and then they come in as immigrants.
Yep.
And boy, I'll tell you, there's some great people.
So we have one of our board members is Lucy Narakundo, who has Mariah store on Cumberland Avenue.
Nice.
And she came from Rwanda and the Congo, and she tells all these amazing stories, and she's just here to give, and she speaks like, I don't know, 7 to 10 different languages, and she's just a community resource for all the Africans and immigrants who come in. And she's an amazing woman, and she just, not a lot of people have had that experience, and it's really quite a blessing. And she was so touched that I was like, Lucy, we're going to put you on the board. And we did it because she comes, she participates, she gives, she does.
Right.
And she loves it because we have a women's leadership forum that she does. And she comes to our business after hours. She comes to our awards, and she's like, I learn about your culture and how you do things. And I was like, hello, madre, nada, how to speak the West African pidgin language. So I used to live, and I would be in the market and how to Pekin, and it was so much fun. Like, it's really fun to see her and connect.
Wonderful people, and that's been a great experience. So Matima wrote the introduction to the book, and then I do an 11-page on a plan, build a plan and work it, and how I discovered God, and back in the late 90s. And then we get into, it's great if you're a nuts and bolts Bible reader and really the scripture, boy, there are 11 chapters, and 2 of them really focus on hardcore scripture. And it's interesting. And then other chapters are are lighter and more in concept and philosophy. So we've had a great response to it, and we're on Barnes and Noble now, Amazon. We have 17 5-star reviews, and we're building a platform. I have the publisher is a great friend of mine, Jimmy Vigu, great athlete from Maine. He and I played football together at Colby in 1969. I was a quarterback. He was a receiver. So we've had this connection and renewed 10 years ago, and I found out he was a publisher. So I sent Jimmy the flash drive, and he got back. He said, "That's pretty good." He called me a week later. He said, no, we're going to run with this. So he loves the message. So we're creating a platform called The Landing, and I wasn't familiar with any. He's done a great job for me. And it's eddiewoodin.com. And it's really interesting. He thinks it will drive. We just want to get this in the hands of people and try and encourage them. If they can find one nugget that will encourage them. And so far, each time there's this message of inspiration and they're wanting to get back in the game or try something new. But anyway, we have a new landing called eddiewoodin.com. We're working on it, and we're going to have daily prayer. It's very interesting and Derek's taken the lead. Yeah, Derek, thank you, Derek. Jimmy's taken the lead on it, but we're just trying to build a marketing plan as big and wide as we can. We're going to go on
that for you on our website, because it goes out to 3,500 people, and we can get that out.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. We're going to do a blast to 50,000 Kindle readers on Amazon. You know, we're spending a little money now, and it's all for profit. This is not a money maker. This is a money investment, and there's no expectation any profits will go to charity. I have a new thing with the senior agency I'm considering, but we just want to get it in as many hands as possible, and hoping it will encourage someone spiritually and or otherwise. So it's good.
It's wonderful. Yeah, and I think I got the first signed copy.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Remember, you were testing out
to Catherine. Yay! It's great. It's great. Thanks for visiting. Yeah. So we're enthused about that. And my next thing, Derek, you're asking about philanthropy. We're involved with the Cape Elizabeth Foundation, and I was very involved with the Children's Garden and investing in it, and I've supported them. So we're a sponsor for tomorrow. We have 600 people on the property. And the gardens, we've had 10,000 people in 20 years on the gardens. I started the anti-pesticide movement in Maine in 2009. And now my next project is a 300-page science catalog that I'm sending to DC regarding pesticides. And curiously, anyway, the big news out of Israel on autism, and they were in their lab, nitric oxide. And some people say no, but I see the airplanes going over my property, Grandin Pond, once a week, dumping nitric oxide for crate clouds. And they did a test on mice, and lo and behold, what was the result? Genetic change to autism. So we have no idea what we're doing in science. And so I'm sending 300 pages. I'm sending 300 pages to RFK. I'm non-political, but we have 700 pages of science, and that's my next project, is to get that out of here and try and use it as a roadmap for them, because we learned a lot. And we had some great people in Scarborough who jumped into our Citizens for a Green Scarborough. So, you got to be in the game, and you got to be steadfast, tenacious, and just keep going.
That's great. Well, I would be really interested in hearing about that. And if there's anything I can do to help you promote that, if you're ready to, if that at some point is something you'd like to get out to people. I have, of course, my book, Chasing the Rabbit, that I wrote about my son with autism. And
he had autism. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, my son.
How do you go from 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 25?
It's amazing, isn't it?
And where and what and who and who's, it's just incredulous, sad. It's the plague on America, and who's doing it? Government? No. I learned something. So I'm at this garden tour, and this older lady, grandmother type, came up, very nice. We talked, former teacher. She wrote me a 2-page note. And at the bottom, her wisdom, at the bottom of the note, it said, it's always from the bottom up. It's never from the top down. And so we have to do it from the bottom up. And that's it. I will keep you in my loop on that, Derek.
Yeah, I would like to hear about that. I have just under 10,000 followers on my Facebook page. So
wow.
I'd be happy to help promote it in any way that I can.
Wow, yeah. And when I get it, come and visit. I'm going to have multiple copies, and I'll show you the articles.
Yeah. I not to go off on a tangent, but I spent, after writing my book, I spent 5 years traveling the country at autism conferences talking about it and our experience. And people ask me quite often, how do I think Dylan ended up with autism? And I have a theory, but I said, they wanted to get me involved in the whole vax discussion. And I said, look, I don't know enough about it. I'm not saying it happened. It didn't happen. For us, it was very classic. He seemed fine until he got his MRI vaccines, and then he wasn't. But there were other factors as well. So who the heck knows? All I know is he's 34 years old, and I'm here in California trying to help him get through life because it's very, very difficult. So whatever you can do on that front, I applaud you.
Great courage, Derek. And I will keep you in that loop. And so book is fine, growing, and our goal is 1 million copies. Jimmy thinks church people in particular reaching out, and we're working that big. But I'm on to this other thing now. Yep. On to the next.
You're also a big bird aficionado too, right?
All the birds?
Audubon's a bird. They went to your office and there were bird pictures everywhere.
Well, silly me. I purchased and created the historic bird art collection in the world. And they were killing all the birds, extinction, and then they put the brakes on, and it's a heck of a story. So I have all this art, and I've worked with a number of museums that they loved it, and I went to Philly rodent pony shows with the millionaires and the billionaires, and they all want it for free. So here I am with this messaging, but, on a local basis, yes, we have fun and influence. And in fact, that's my third project, is building a bird art museum. And I have an advisory group that wants to launch it and build it. So God, give me another 100 years and I'll get all this done.
There we go. So I think maybe we're ready for a lightning round. So this is the section of our show where we ask 4 questions and we just want a quick answer, no longer than 10 seconds. And I'll start it off with what...
Do I win anything?
Yeah, you win our applause. So
Pardon gift, the Chit Chat and Derek and Cat board game.
Yes, there you go. So what saying are you known for? I say stick with me, kid, and you'll have fun, and then maybe you'll learn something. But what saying are you known for?
Think big and be big.
It's a good one.
It's a choice. We're wandering along, and then it's like, no. You got to be better than this and bigger than this.
So you've told us a lot of interesting facts about you. So share one interesting fact or experience that would never show up on your formal bio that shaped your success.
Wow, nice one. Good questions. I'm second generation immigrant, Norwegian. Grandparents came over on the boat in 1912. The year Fenway Park was built, Derek, and
the year the Titanic sank.
and the Titanic sank. It was,
good thing
and LL Bean was founded. It was a big year, and they were here. That was big, and now I'm here. But yeah, and the strong work ethic. And, my parents did a lot I know I'm over 10 seconds, but to help people and give back. So I learned the strong work ethic and respecting those around you and trying to help them.
What book or podcast are you currently reading or listening that is helping you? You find that other people might be interested in?
It's a great question. The Bible. I'm busy. I was in here the other night till 10. I was here until 10 last night. I'm here on the weekends. It's a choice. And I'm every night. I went through Proverbs, Psalms. It's really the roadmap. I just I didn't want to know who, what, when, and where. I wanted to know how to live in a good spirit-filled way. So I started in 1996, and I underlined all the positive things I could find at James and Ephesians. So I go back for 10,500 plus days reading that book. And I have the plain English one called The Book, Book, and reinforce it every night for half an hour. And that's joyful to me. Joyful, it reinforces being positive, helping, how to live.
Perfect way to end the day.
It's perfect. Joyful. We talked last night at prayer night about joy. The joy's been stolen. Where do you find joy? And it was very interesting. A lot was through prayer in that time, but my joy is part of it is right there.
Yep.
It's always consistent. That and my dogs with their tails wagging. Get home. That's joy. But yeah.
Happiness is circumstantial. Joy is within.
Yeah.
We just have to say how they can find Eddie.
How do you find me?
Yes.
I'm out there. If you Google Eddie Woodin, Maine. Oh, the other thing I didn't mention. So I start in 1980, Board of Trustees, Audubon. I do the work. And finally in 2008, someone said, hey, this guy's pretty good. He's doing a lot of give back. And then the recognition started. So I've had, one a year, and Colby, C Club Sports Person of the Year, the Colby Brick that they only give 5 a year, and National Football Foundation, Distinguished American Baseball Hall. It just continues. So do the work. And then, so if you Google Eddie Woodin, Maine with an I, Woodin, it's all out there. There are a number of articles. And then, of course, my email is great. It's out there, eddie@woodinco.com. And we do a lot of strategic planning. We've worked with over 30 nonprofits on strategic planning. A large organization came in looking for money. And I said, well, that's great. I said, I'm a business. I can write you a check. I said, but, you're waiting for small checks from individuals. 80% of the money is from corporations. It's an 80-20. They have 20%, but 80. Well, we had this conversation. They went back and created a corporate sponsorship program. And 2 years later, we're bringing in $250,000 a year. And so wow. I worked with over 30 organizations on that, and recently with another one. And they're all ears. I mean, just put it out there. Think big. I'm telling them, think big. You're bigger and better than you think you are. This is what you do, but your mission's a lot bigger. And message that. Yeah.
Changing lives.
Well, thanks for being part of our organization, the Institute.
This is great. Yes, thank you so much. Great job. Family-owned businesses, and not easy. And where do you go from here? What do you do? You grow in age, and what's the plan? And boy, but all good. But thank you. Great job over there. And Derek, great job in your work and being part of it. And let's talk about a Christian ownership thing that you were interested in.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to you about C12.
Come and see me.
Absolutely.
And see me.
We'll do that.
All right.
when I get back from this crazy West Coast trip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Well, good to see
All
you,
right.
Eddie. Thanks for
We'll pray
joining
for
us.
you, Derek. Nice seeing you.
Thanks a lot for
Thanks.
being on Chit Chat with
Nice
Derek
seeing
and Kat. We'll be back
Thank you.
with another episode next time.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Chit Chat with Derek and Kat. If you loved hearing today's family business story, don't forget to follow the show and leave us a review. It helps more people find these amazing stories. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Want to learn more about the families and service providers we feature or get involved with the Institute for Family-Owned Business or Vogue Packaging Corporation? Visit fambusiness.org, fambusiness.org. We'll see you next time on Chit Chat with Derek and Kat.